Good afternoon, friends. I hope you guys are well. We are back for our Sunday afternoon live and weekly update. What is going on in the markets? We're in the middle of a government shutdown, and we're really excited to have a new guest with us this evening. Nice to see you guys already popping in. Hello, 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 friends. I hope you guys had a great trading week. September, though it was not the Rectember that everybody was expecting, there was still quite a bit of chopping action. For us, that was great. We appreciated having the potential to make quite a bit of money the last weeks. For those of you who don't know, at the Trade Speakeasy, we divide our trading systems into two categories: discretionary trades and systematic trades. And we had a clean sweep week with our discretionary trades, and my co-host is here. Don't know what happened there. All right. Hello, Uncle Charles. How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Oh,
And
there he is.
hello.
Please, Uncle Charlie. How you doing, baby?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I was actually having a conversation about you with Lawrence the past day, letting him
Okay.
know that we need to set something up, and I'll be reaching out to you actually this week.
Okay.
Yeah. How you doing,
Sounds good. I'm good, man. I'm good.
Suzanne? Thank you for having me. How you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. And I'm excited to have this chance to meet you, talk to you. I'm too bad I didn't get to see you guys at the Wealth Summit, that was Tech Wealth Summit, but the timing was terrible. My kids had just started school in a new country, so that had to be the priority, had to make sure that they're well integrated. Um, it just is what it is. The last year, the Tech Wealth Summit was like right at the beginning of the summer holidays for us, but this
Hmm.
year it was right after school started. So I'm not sure what the US school system dates are, but there you
Yeah.
go.
Anywhere from mid August to first of September. Yeah.
Yep.
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So,
let's see if you'll
mhm.
be able to make it next year to the summit. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and be like, well, no, you missed out on a lot. But I'm gonna make sure you around me and I'm around you, so I'll make sure to pass over those insights. Mark walked us through 2029. I was able to see 2035. And then Charlie just made sure to knock it out the park and just let us know about quantum computing and to make sure to be invested into that early.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely an area we have been investing in heavy this year, and that has had some massive returns for us already. But I mean, this is just the beginning um, overall. So, for those from the Trade Speakeasy that you are new to them, tell us about you. Like, let our audience know who you are. Like, why were you at the Tech Wealth Summit? Why were you talking about investing? What is all this to you, sir?
All right. So my honorable name that my mother gave me is Kelvin Franco. Right. For anybody that wants to be able to look me up, that is my government name. That is my honorable name. Right. Kelvin Franco. I shall always leave it like that on Facebook. Because I pride myself on you wanting to see my mindset 10, 20 years ago. Why? Because we live with habits, right? You can't
Hmm.
lie about your habits. You could paint a good game, yet your actions will always speak for yourself, right? I go by Moody Bugs because that's what my wife named me like a while ago. One Moody because I'm a Gemini, and I'm like Moody. I'm not gonna lie, like people would think that I'm like being aggressive or I'm mad if I use profanity or if I do this. No, I just want to get something done, and that's just how it's coming out. So I tell
Hmm.
anybody that's around me, hey, I'm gonna be naked in this garden, right? So please don't judge me. Judge the action and the results that happen from
Hmm.
this, right? Um, because leadership is not a, I don't want to say it's not a pleasant work, because it is. It's just very uncomfortable. Yet I done
Mm,
fell in love with the uncomfortability, right? So my name is Moody because I get moody and bugs because I will bug you or anyone for any information that I may want, right? So what I tell people is I flipped the polarity in my life, right? I used to
mm-hmm,
be a badass little kid. I'm not scared to talk about it, right? I made my mom cry a lot, right? So that's why I honor her so much.
mm,
And I honor women. So flip the polarity with my name, Bug Moody. Right? If you need anything, just bug me. Don't think about, oh man, I gotta pay him, or dude, it's you don't have to pay someone to have a conversation, right?
mm,
Um, so long story short, I go by the name of Understanding because I'm a 5%er. And I stand on that. That's my belief. And
mm,
I'm a biblical trader, right? Everything that I see
mm,
on a chart is very, very biblical to me, right?
mm,
And it's happening in real time. I'm from the Bronx. My mom migrated here from Dominican Republic. My ethnicity is Hispanic. I am a black man. Um, what else can I say about myself? I am 34 years of age. Um, so about my trading journey, I was already invested into the stock market. I would say since like maybe like 2019 around there, 2018, and it was sheer luck. It was just me scrolling through
mm,
Instagram buying shares. I didn't even know what options was. I didn't even know how to enable that stuff. I didn't know
mm,
what it was. I was just buying shares of like Apple, Microsoft, even Starbucks. um, that was like in 2019. I started getting Starbucks. And it was only because of Instagram. I would see like um just content that would say, hey, if you're drinking coffee, coffee costs this much, the stock costs this much, and stuff like that. So it was just, to be honest, it was just sheer
mm,
luck with my algorithm. 2021, well, it was really 2020 around like November-ish, December-ish. I just was on Facebook and I seen my cousin Justin Yenas. He was making $1,000 like a day, a week. Like, and it wasn't him posting it, it was like this other group like sharing it, but I knew that that was my cousin. And I was like, what the heck?
mm,
I'm not making that much money. I kept
mm-hmm,
looking at my portfolio like, why is this shit not happening to me? Like, I understand the compound interest, but this is not happening for me. So I gave him a ring, and it was in the same time that I wanted to open up my beauty supply store. I need to stop saying that so somebody don't take my idea. It don't matter. Take my idea. You need to go do it anyways. However, long story short, um, it was around game when GameStop was going crazy. So I always used to
mm-hmm,
think that I just got lucky because I made money off of like GameStop, Microsoft,
mm,
um, Churchill Capital, it was something like that before they
mm,
did the merger.
Yeah.
Um, it was just a whole bunch of things. It was like sheer luck to for me, to be honest with you. I was taking signals, however, I was like on the charts and really trying to figure it out. Um, I was in this group called Unbroken Mindset. That's how I met Mark Monroe, right? I didn't know who Mark
mm,
Monroe was in 2020. I met him in 2021, and it was only because we was going to be doing an interview with him, and I was like, "Oh
mm,
snap! I don't know who this man is. I ain't know nothing about
mm,
him." So I started researching, it, and I was just like, "What the?"
mm,
And I was just like, "Yo, is this a one?" Because I had stopped smoking weed, and I don't care. I'm going to share my experience. I had stopped smoking weed, so like my dreams started coming back to me. And I
mm,
had a dream with his grandmother. And his grandmother in the dream was like, tell him that I said he's doing such a great job. Give him a hug with your words for me. And then I'm not gonna say the part of the dream that I had that was just is literally manifesting itself right now, and I don't want to like say
mm,
it. However, long story short, I cried. I remember, I did my research on him. I seen him on the news. I seen him doing a whole bunch of different things, and I was just like, "Yo, why is this happening like to me?"
mm,
I literally just retired my job. I wasn't telling anybody. Only
mm,
like the owners of the Discord knew. Um, and I was already doing classes there, doing their lives, trading. Yeah, I just didn't know because I didn't know nothing about communities. I'm just like, oh, this how it goes, you know?
mm,
So long story short, Mark blew my mind. He's the one that told me you're gonna become a scalper to a day trader. into a swing trader. He said, scalping is going to age on you, though.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to rub it in his face, like, it still hasn't aged on me. But I know why though. It's because I have ADD and things of that nature. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So it works out for me. Yet he was 100% right. Whereas like I've fallen more into a swing trader and a leap trader. Yet because I love to teach, I'm always going to be scalping. Yet
Mm-hmm.
I find myself scalping even if I'm on a trip or on vacation. So it's just something that I really enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what else can I talk about my journey? So that was back in 2021. That happened for me very quickly. It was like less than 60 days. Then I started teaching. I didn't want to teach. People started wanting to pay me to teach. I felt like that was wrong because I was just like, bro, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Yet I knew what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I help people too, because it's about your confidence level. It's also about when you're walking in your light and walking into your calling and your purpose. Sometimes you're going to feel like you don't know what you're doing. Why? Because you're actually remaining a student to the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so from there, I started like meeting a lot of like different people online, like not like really meeting them, but like seeing them online, seeing what they were
Mm-hmm.
doing. Um, my heart told me to keep following Mark Monroe. So I just kept following him. I seen Uncle Charlie. I started following him. I seen you. I started following you as well. Mo, I started following him and Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
That's why for me it was like super beautiful to be able to meet Lawrence. Because he was like one of my mentors and I was like kind of
Mm-hmm.
gatekeeping him. He didn't mentor me, but like, I rob people. Like if you say something good and you got peace in your heart, oh, I'm taking you for me. Like you about to be all for me. However, I was like kind of gatekeeping him. I ain't tell nobody about him, so I give him his flowers, and I want to say this live so people could always hear this. Where it was like I made sure nobody was gonna see his Instagram name, and I was like played a clip from him in my community. This was like back in like 2022. Um, and like three people was like, "Oh snap, that's Orange, that's your mentor." I was like, people know who you are. My bad. I kept this away from y'all because I would feel bad. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
wrong. Like if you learn something from
Mm-hmm.
someone or even pick something up, like if it's basketball and you watch Michael Jordan, you should tell somebody because that person will be able to learn from that person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to take up the floor, my bad. So that's really it. So I'm a scalper, a day trader, a swing trader. When I first jumped into the game, I was doing everything with NFTs in the cryptocurrency market, trading on MetaTrader. I was just like so indulged into it. It was all I wanted to do. I think it's important to say, like, I almost even lost my family. Because I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, just tunnel vision. Um, and I think that I did what Michael Jordan said to do, where it's like you have to be very selfish. I knew I had a wife, yet I also knew that I didn't have a child. So I should be able to take advantage of my situation. So I do my best to like nurture people's mindset, where it's your mindset. If you can switch your mindset to nothing in this world is wrong, we know what's going on in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, if you can just protect yourself for like 6 to 8 months and just hone into everything is great, everything that's happening for me is to elevate me,
Mm-hmm.
is gonna literally increase your profits in trading. Why? Because the way you are off the charts is how you show up on the charts.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Okay. Yeah.
absolute truth. So, as a scalper, there's some people in my Discord that are like killer scalpers, and there was a season of my trading where that's actually how I made a significant amount of my capital. But I just realized I couldn't keep doing it because my kids were way too young, and being alone with them it was a lot of stress. I remember having this conversation actually last night that you sit in front of your chart, you wait for the beautiful setup to come, you see that reversal setting up perfectly, and you're about to get it, and then suddenly like you have an explosive diaper situation, and you have to like leave to go manage a baby or manage a situation, and you're gutted because you feel like, oh my gosh, I've invested 2-3 hours to like waiting for this really like very A++ setup, and then it kind of moves past you. And that's when I
said, even though I like this, it's going to exhaust me in the management style of my life. But you obviously weren't in that situation. Like you said, you had a wife, but at that time you didn't have kids when you were developing this skill. So what was it about, like, what do you think were some of the kind of key important data points for you that helped you kind of hone that skill of scalping?
That's a really good question and how you formulated it. One, multiple time frame analysis.
Hmm.
Utilizing multiple time frames. Just like how you would utilize multiple time frame analysis for like say your swing trading. Let's just say you're utilizing a 4 hour to the daily, to the weekly, to the monthly chart, right? Because we're swing
Hmm.
trading, right? And when I say
Hmm.
swing trading, not intermediate to long term, anywhere between 3 months
Hmm.
to, holding midterm, 6 months, 9 months to leaping, right?
Hmm.
You would do the same thing. That's where people get confused. You would do the same thing when it comes to day trading and when it comes to scalping. And day
Hmm.
traders are scalpers. That's where people get confused because people, I don't want to say that people are not giving the right information. I don't care. They gave me the floor to start speaking, so I'm gonna tell people the truth. You're just not doing what you say you're doing, so you
Hmm.
can't give the person the right information. Day traders are
Hmm.
scalpers. Day traders does not mean that I'm going to be in a trade for I don't know 3 minutes to an hour. That's even it's impossible to even say that. Moves happen pretty quickly. Something can happen
Hmm.
dramatically where it's like, okay, I'm out of this trade, right?
Hmm.
As long now you can be the type of day trader that is a buyer and a holder, meaning. Hey, I've got into my started position. Maybe it could have been 35 contracts, right? Let's say it was SPY, second day expiration, 35 contracts at the money, in the money, that's trading $7,000, right? Because that's what I do, so I should know that, right?
Hmm.
However, long story short, now, let's say I want to be a day trader and actually maximize the most that I can. I'm still gonna scout. Meaning, okay, cool. I got into this trade. Now I'm gonna take about like maybe it went. I don't even like talking percentage wise. If it took out the liquidity
Hmm.
of the market structure that it was
Hmm.
supposed to take out. Okay, now let me go ahead and start scaling out of my trade. Maybe I take 15, right? It pushes me up a little extra 10%. Let me go ahead and scale a little bit more out. Now I can't lose the
Hmm.
trade, right? Okay, now I got stragglers of like 5 contracts or something of that nature. Now I can day trade. Why? Because I've made my money for the day, and this can go back
Hmm.
to zero, or this could even go to negative 10%, and I still win. Meaning now I add on to that position. I have five
Hmm.
contracts. Okay, let me add on 15. I can take a risk now.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If that's something that I want to do. So what helped me primarily for scalping is multiple time frame analysis, right? I learned how to trade on a 1 minute chart, right? So a 1 minute
Hmm.
chart now goes extremely slow for me. So I trade on a
Hmm.
second chart. So me, I'll utilize a 5 minute or a 15 minute. That'd be my highest time frame that I'm
Hmm.
utilizing that I'm trading because we're always trading one candlestick, right? Even if we're
Hmm.
looking at a 12-month time frame. You're trading one candlestick. So your job is to understand when your reversal pattern comes. What is the first
Hmm.
reversal pattern that a chart will give us? Obviously, we have one candle, so that is not a reversal pattern. That's just going to be a bullish
Hmm.
candle or a bearish candle to keep it easy. And I don't even know how to
Hmm.
pronounce the H little word, the HAR, Harmazi, whatever. So the second candle that is going to give you, right, whether it's green or red, what pattern is that? Why? Because one candlestick is price action, right? It's going to be your
Hmm.
opening price, your closing price, your highest point, and your lowest point, which
Hmm.
a real trader knows what that means. Opening price, support, closing price, resistance, highest point, rejection, lowest point, bounce levels, right? So with that being said, if another candlestick comes out, what is the first reversal pattern that it gives you? It's either going to be a tweezer top. Of course, if it was green to red, that's going to be a tweezer top,
Hmm.
right? If it was red to green, that's going to be a tweezer bottom. And if you're in the
Hmm.
tweezer bottom, automatically, depending on the time frame that you're on, you see a tweezer bottom on a 5 minute time frame, whether it's on a 1 minute time frame. If you know what creates what, you know what to do. Meaning, okay, if you put a man with a woman and they sit down, well, they don't got to, they can't sit down. That's impossible. They have to actually have intercourse. And they have intercourse. What are you going to get? A child, right? You know what creates what. So the tweezer bottom creates your morning star. See, it's all biblical, right? You know that little star? We're all trying to grab one, right? So, long story short, that tweezer bottom is going to create your morning star. How do we
Mm-hmm.
know that? Because if you see the tweezer bottom, let's just say go find it on a 5 minute time frame, whatever
Mm-hmm.
time frame you like. Break it down, walk down the steps, meaning go to a smaller time frame. Stop listening to the government. A smaller time frame from a 5 minute chart is going to be a 4 minute chart. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because we know what's the next number under four, five. You know how to walk up a step, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stop skipping steps, right? So if you go to the 4 minute time frame, you're going to see the morning star. If you see the morning star, what you're in? Cup and handle.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a cup and handle, what are you in? Bull flag breakout. Because the last pattern that a cup and handle is going to give you is a bull flag breakout.
Mm-hmm.
If you see the cup and handle, you're sitting inside of an inverted head and shoulders, right? So you only have two reversal patterns. This is what helps me as a scalper. I know what happens. First reversal pattern, bullish. I'm talking on the bullish side. It's called a tweezer bottom. From the bullish, you
Mm-hmm.
only have the second reversal, universal reversal pattern, which is called a morning star. You go read about it in your Bible, right? Go open it. So long story short, you got tweezer bottom, morning star. Those are reversal patterns. Understand the language. The
Mm-hmm.
Father said, lean upon his understanding, not thy
That's
understanding,
what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
right? All right, cool. So now that we know that, those are the only two reversal patterns. See
Mm-hmm.
that? Only two. Gotcha. So only two can make three. Oh my God, look at me teaching the word of God. So now what happens after that? You
I don't
got
think
three.
anybody thought they was gonna be getting this training today.
I know. I'm like, where are the notes?
So
I love
three
it.
is going to be my name, understanding, right? So three is going to be your cup and handle. What is a cup and handle? That is not a reversal pattern. That is called a bullish
Okay.
continuation pattern.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they say that they continue. Let your cup overrunneth with a bull flag. Right? So now that we know that, what is a bull flag? A continuation pattern. So you
Mm-hmm.
have two continuations after you have a reversal. You get two reversals, you get two continuations. What appears after that? Inverse head and shoulders is the overall pattern that creates. And what is that? That is not a reversal pattern. That is a bullish pattern that magnetizes to the market structure. That's why
Mm-hmm.
you're always looking for inverted head and shoulders to break out. And we don't just go for a breakout trade. We want to make sure it's tested a few times. I was
Mm-hmm.
overwhelmed. I'm sorry.
No, I love it. One of the
So
things that we always say in our Discord, sorry, Uncle Charles, to cut you off, is price is fractal. So whether you're trading on a 1 minute chart, a 5 minute chart, a 15 minute chart, or a 1 day chart, the price action, the way that it interacts is the same on every time frame. So once you learn how to visualize certain strategies or candlestick patterns, if they're legitimate, you can go to any time frame and see the same setups. So a lot of times when people teach things like, let's say for instance, supply and demand, they will teach it on, let's say they'll be like, oh, for this structural thing to be legitimate, you have to be on a very high time frame chart. Well, then the problem is that if you break that down to a lower time frame, if the logic doesn't hold up, then it's not going to, it doesn't keep working. So it's like if I have, and we kind of explain it's like having two drops, like a tiny drop of water, a tiny drop of water. You have now two tiny drops of water. But if I have a cup of water and another cup of water, I have 2 cups of water. But there is no logic in which, if those two things are equal to each other, that they don't create two of that thing. It's not going to be 2 cups of water is yellow ducks. And oftentimes, when people are teaching price action, they teach it in a way that it does only work on one time frame. And so when you bring it down to a lower time frame, the logic starts to break down, and that by itself should demonstrate that actually that that logic of price doesn't actually work, because any logic of price should be able to work on any time frame with equal merit, because price is fractal. It's like, what do you call it? Like if you have the square and you cut it into four, they should be four equal squares. If it's not, if you have four rectangles, you didn't start with a square. So something doesn't make sense in the transfer of the information. So I completely agree with what you're saying. And I think it's a very important aspect of trading price action, especially if you trade clean price action. And I tell people this in the Discord all the time. indicators, you should never, like, I use gamma for everything, but I will never, ever, ever use gamma to take a trade and it doesn't already make sense on the chart. The chart already makes sense naked. It's building up a very specific trajectory to a specific point. Then I
Mhm.
want to see that institutions are compounding what I see on the chart. But I don't take gamma and then say this chart has to do this random thing that actually isn't making sense with the price action. They should be like corroborating each other, I would say. But I think it goes back to what you're like, similar to what you're saying, the about how when you look at those candlestick patterns, by breaking it down, you can see that same kind of logic and thesis on each time frame, whether it's the tweezer bottom on a 1 minute or a 1 day chart. It, when you break it down to the lower time frames, you'll continue to see the mirroring of the strategy on any level. So I really like that. I
So,
really wholly agree with your sentiment.
so let
Sorry,
me
Uncle
ask this
Charles, I cut
question.
you
No,
off.
no, I just wanted to ask this question. I say, so Modi, I mean, do you trade normally, say, between 9:30 and 12, and you're done, or do you trade all day? I mean, what makes you decide whether you're going to, number one, stay in front of that computer all day, you know, looking for trades, or have you already done your research like the night before on something and say, you know what? These are the three or four I see. If something else pops up, yeah, I'll take a look at it. But just what's your logic day to day as far as how you trade?
Gotcha. I'm gonna answer that question. I just failed to say something that's very important
Hmm.
that we were both talking about.
Yeah,
Suzanne saying fractal time frames. I'm saying multiple time frame analysis. Same thing. Now, when she was talking about when you go to a smaller time frame and it's not adding up, you're not seeing the same thing. That's because you're not seeing time frame continuity, right? You
Mm-hmm.
always have to have that continuity. And when people don't see that, it doesn't mean that it's not working. If you don't have continuity, do not take the trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Continuity shall always get you into the trade. Now, to answer your question, I can answer that question in a lot of different ways, right? To answer it like where I'm at in life right now, what's gonna get me off the charts and stop trading, scalping wise, how much money I make through that day. Like I'm cool with like my goal is to make anywhere between over $700. That's my goal. You know what I
okay,
mean? I'm gonna just be honest with you. I some days I'm gonna make 7,000. Some days I'm gonna make 40
yeah,
grand.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? It's just to like remind myself. The 700 is to remind myself that I had a job at one point and I will only bring home $700
yeah,
every 2 weeks. So
yeah,
hey, $700 a
Mm-hmm.
day is actually great, right? So long story short, that right there is automatically gonna give me like, hey, I'm done trading. However. I don't have a specific time
okay,
when I trade in my community. I trade the market opening from 9:30 to 10:30. To be
yeah,
honest with you, I'm gonna make my money extremely freaking quick. I am not that person that you're gonna hear about, oh man, I was up last night true doing this, man. Fuck that shit, bro. I'm not doing that. I'm
yeah,
not at that
Mm-hmm.
stage of my life no more. I grinded in 2021 and 2022. I did all of that back then. Everybody wants to hear me say that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not doing that. I'm getting straight out of my bed around 8:45 ish. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Just depending. If I get up at like 8:30, oh, you gonna have a beautiful live 8:15 because I'm gonna go meditate before I get on there. I'm gonna go talk to my father and things of that nature. However, I roll out the bed like around 8:45 ish. Start getting ready. I might grab me some coffee, throw it in the calabash cup, go to Nasdaq, go to 4 hour time frame, 13 hour for the 13 man. See what they giving me. Boom, start charting from there. I just start charting and I'm going to trade and I'm going to
okay,
make my money. I'm not like, bro, I'm a scalper. I don't have time to just, oh, wait,
all
if it breaks this level. No, that's what I'm doing with swing trading. That's what I do with
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
options and stuff. I got to be patient over there. Scalping, I don't got to be patient.
right, right,
You know what I'm saying? Charlie, just hit me up the next day. Try me. Be like, look, Moody, pick a time. I don't care. Throw it in a hat. Let's see
yeah,
if he's who he say he is. I trade at any time. That's why if you come into my coaching program, me, I stop allowing people to pay me for one-on-one sessions. Like I'm not gonna give you a disservice doing that. It's just, bro, look, listen, that's gonna take time. These people will go
Yeah.
rob you for your money just for an hour or whatever. I ain't even gonna do that. Look, pay for the coaching program at that value price. Why? Because you could book me unlimited.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I just know I have my boundaries where, hey, you can't book me past this time or this or that. You
Yeah.
can book me, and life a change for you. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because trading is a skill, man. People are lying out here, and I don't care to come out. I'm about like I shouldn't. Well, I don't care. I'm about to do this podcast, and I'm gonna talk to the world. Why?
Yeah.
Because people are actually selling. That's why I'm glad that you're asking me these great questions. Like, once you have the skill and once you know what you're doing, whether you do it on a paper trade, a funded account, your account, you're going to grow. You're going to make money. If you're around somebody in a community where you can communicate with that individual, because I ain't going to just sit here and knock down all the gurus. You know what I'm saying? Some people can't even communicate and get a one-on-one session with the person. You know what I'm
Hmm.
Right.
saying? If you done lost money and you came to me and I can't recover that money, I ain't who I say I am. Point blank period.
Wow. Okay.
It's not on you, it's on me.
Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
took my high school friend. I just posted it on my story. She made me happy. She said, "I'm a tag Mark. I know how much he mean to you." Where it's like she just cashed out what, like $27,000 off of futures. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? Just a couple of months, she made 57,000 in one day. I'm just
Wow.
not here to run and make profits in my community and literally like, hey, look at what I did for this person. Look what I did with this man.
Hmm.
The father take it away from me. I'm not here for that.
Hmm.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay.
I'm
So
here. Oh, go ahead.
So
Sorry,
real
my bad.
quick, I heard you. I mean, you were up on stage at the Tech Wealth Summit, and the thing that was so positive about that was having four people up there. Everybody had their own way of doing things, but it all came back to me where I could say, well, they all end up in the same place.
Hmm.
Okay, winning and trying to teach the community of people how to win,
Hmm.
but not making no promises that you gonna win every day because don't nobody win every day.
Hmm.
Okay. um when you look at maybe when you were starting off and you took some losses, what kept you going to not stop and just to fall back and say, you know what, I'm just going to get me a job?
Oh man, these are the questions I actually love to answer. So I'll tell you like several experiences. One is my wife. Two is me.
Mm,
I know one should be me. It's just, I look at her and my child, my son, before I go to rest.
yeah.
And it's just I was raised by a single mother. So it's
Hmm.
just I think it's like every child that was raised by a single mother is I don't know, it all depends. Anyways, long story short, I remember losing like over 50 grand in one shot. And when that happened, I called my brother. I
Mm,
meditated on it. I was gonna call like a couple of other people, and the father had told me like call home. And
mm,
he literally like he knew what to do. It's just I'm from the Bronx, so he told me to watch a DMX interview with Drink Champs,
mm,
and that
Hmm.
got me right back. To be honest with you, you know what I'm saying? Because I was able to see, look at everything that DMX has gone through. Look at what they're putting him through. You know what I'm
mm,
saying?
Hmm.
And regardless of the fact that he has his addiction, he still shows up. You can say whatever you want to, yet he still shows up. He's still giving you the word and things of that nature. Um, what makes me not quit is just that sun that rises every single day that, walks water that's flowing on those clouds. Like it hasn't failed me. So why should I
yeah.
fail my mission on why I came? Um, to be honest with you, is my therapist.
Yeah.
I have a therapist, and I had a therapist before I started trading and stuff of that
Hmm.
nature.
Hmm.
She gives me insights about myself that I don't see yet.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um, And I also just understand life where it's like this losses that I take aren't because I'm a bad trader or it was a bad entry
Hmm.
point.
Hmm.
It was to like teach me something. And maybe it's not about trading. Maybe it's how I treated the next person, or I didn't stop for that homeless person, and I was homeless before. You know, my mind thinks in a very completely different manner. And then Charlie, just to be frank with you, no, you're not gonna win every single trade. However, bro, I don't relate to no fucking losers, man. I haven't had a red month, and I don't know how long. I haven't had a red month at all this year. Um,
Mhm.
I've had a red week.
Mhm.
I've had a red day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, And majority of the time, even if I go live, you should come see me. Bro, if you miss a
Okay.
trade or if you're red, I'll be asking like, yo, you red? I'm not gonna force a trade. I just know what I'm doing. Speak up. You red?
Mhm.
Let me go ahead and get you back to break even and make you some money. What the fuck am I
Right.
on this live for? You know what I'm saying? I tell people you're paying a subscription. I know how you look at me and I know how you feel about me. I am not the rest of these people online. I
Mhm.
know for you it's like, oh, he's busy, or is this? Yo, I need to put a new light bulb on that one. Is busy, is this? However, don't forget, don't forget, it don't matter that I'm a trader. If you hired me to go paint your house and I'm not doing a good job, you're going to
Mhm.
fire me and find a new painter.
That's true.
Mhm.
You need to look at these discords and these communities the same way. If I come into your discord, I know how to take accountability where it's like, hey, I ain't pushing the trigger. Hey, oh, I'm jumping in too late. I know that that's on me, that I ain't making money or whatever the case may be. I
Mhm.
need to get on that person's speed. It's not that that person's moving fast. However, if you cannot be profitable within the first week to a month, I don't even give these motherfuckers that much time. God created the world in seven
Yeah.
days. If you can't, you talking about manifestation. If you can't manifest
Mhm.
money to me, shut up. Stop talking about manifestation.
Mhm.
I'm raw. I'm sorry.
No, I like it.
Thank.
And I completely agree
Right.
with you. And you know, and when I first started in this journey of teaching other people, part of the reason that it all came about is because you know when my husband died, you know, everybody told me in the first year of being a widow, don't make any big life decisions. But I was on maternity leave and I was like, well, I need to do something serious about getting a job. And but the job that I had in humanitarian, like working in the humanitarian sector, I was like, okay, I can't go with a 6-month-old baby to Darfur, so I better figure something else out really quickly. And then somebody was like, well, you know, why don't you just make trading your full-time job instead of just doing it as like you know as a hobby in a way I guess. And I was like because it was his first year I was you know hesitant, so I joined a couple communities to see how people did it, and I was shocked by how much gaslighting people were willing to put themselves through. Just people like you know teachers who don't post their trades, they don't say when they're like when they're getting in or when they're getting out, they'll post a trade like, oh, Visa looks like it's going to do A, B, C, D, and then Visa doesn't do A, B, C, D. Oh, yeah, I didn't get in quite yet. I'm waiting for something else. And then people were in the trade and lost money, but then they're like, oh, but this isn't a call out service. This is for education. But it's like, oh, you know, like this, and then okay it's like one time, 20 times, 60 times. And the problem I always wonder why people don't feel like they can't hold people accountable, because I mean you're paying them for something and that something isn't panning out. So no, it's okay to say that that what like you know if this is chicken pot pie, why does it taste like pork? Like
I don't feel
this.
bad for those people though. I don't feel bad for those people. They get what they deserve. They know that they being gaslighted. They know that you ain't being profitable. You know you can speak up. Your parents told you to speak up. You a grown ass person telling your child, "Hey, somebody do something to you. Speak up." No, I don't feel bad for
Hmm.
you. You know what's happening. See, me, I live on a frequency, and I'm sorry, but the devil ain't welcome in this kingdom. You know what I'm saying? That's
Hmm.
negativity. That's worry. That's poverty. That's feeling bad for somebody's situation. I'm not feeling bad for your situation. I was a bad child. I chose to do bad things. I sold drugs. I robbed people. I stole from my mama. You see, someone that's cleaned themselves up won't be embarrassed to say those kind of things.
Hmm.
Why? Because you know what to do now. right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know how to feed other, for lack of words, spirits, you know,
Mm-hmm.
other entities and things of that nature. So I don't I learned something very important from Martin Luther King. And I keep this. It's the five rule. Meaning he only spoke on a problem possibly maybe for 5 minutes and only spoke on solutions after that.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because everybody, that's what a loser wants. Hey man, so did you lose a trade today? Bro, shut up. Why would I want to relate to you about that? I'm not here to trauma bond with you. You know what I'm saying? Go get you a
Mm-hmm.
therapist. Go get you a therapist. Go sit down with your wife or your husband and figure out your problems. Figure out why you keep losing that trade. Figure out why you keep jumping in and you shouldn't be jumping in. Don't come to me trying to relate to that. Or why don't you show your losses? You know, when the last person did that, go to my Discord, go to the losses part. Oh, you want me to show my loss? Okay, I lost like 3 grand, and then I closed the day out with about 2 grand. And I showed you how I made it back small, slowly. Why? Because that was a big loss, one shot. So I'm gonna make it back in 200, 400, 300. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make my money right back. I do that. That's not called revenge trading. I know what revenge trading is because I've done it before. That's called me making sure I have this skill. That's
Mm-hmm.
making sure I could come on someone's live after 5 years of practicing this. You see that? It's not, oh, this is my first year. After 5 years of straight practice and mastery, now I can come and pop my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
People gonna think that it's overnight success. So this dude is cocky. No, I'm not cocky. I'm just confident. And I'm about my father's business. That's Luke
Yeah.
2:49. It's not my fault you wasn't reading your book.
I felt like
Yeah,
I'd been to church twice, 3 times a day now.
I know. So if you like looking back, okay, so now that now that you're trading a range of duration trades from things like scalping to more leaps, are there other kind of informational data that you utilize in order to um what's the word that I'm looking for, in order to set up your trades? Are you looking at things like seasonality? Do you use the news, or do you just purely look at the charts?
uh I say 70%, 80% straight price action.
Mhm.
Uh I steal from Mark Monroe. You know, he's already going to do the work for me, so I'm going to go look at it. Why? Because I can take his information off of face value because I know his research. I've researched him.
Mhm.
I researched his mind,
Mhm.
not his flesh. I care
Yeah.
less about his
Mhm.
fleshy nature. I know what his mind's going to do. I know patterns of him. Why? Because I studied
Mhm.
him. I looked at him like he was my brother, my best friend, you know?
Mhm.
Um Also, I do my own fundamentals. I utilize bar charts for a lot of things. I
Mhm.
use sector rotation. So I understand when the sectors are rotating and when to jump out of tech and jump into oil, things of that nature. Oil likes to prime up from Mondays through Wednesdays, be out of it by like Thursdays, Fridays. Um, Yes, I use seasonality things, but it's not like I go and like research it. It just comes to me in my mind, like
Mhm.
why are you not buying Costco right now? Why are you not buying up FedEx? These people are about to go crazy for Black Friday and all of this stuff,
Mhm.
right? It's just like I'm gonna make a post, and I should do it now, soon. The Santa rally. Why are you not preparing for that
Mhm.
right now? That's through October 19th through November 19th, right? I've studied that and been investing into those dates. This is my fifth year doing it. You know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
haven't missed just yet. Um, yeah, I haven't missed at all. You know what I'm saying? That is the Santa rally. Then you're gonna have the Fed. You're gonna have
Mhm.
Einstein from Wall Street, all these other people start talking about it like around December and stuff of that nature. And now you're late. You're
Mhm.
the guinea pig to buy
Yep.
for us to sell your liquidity. And that's what the news is there for. The news is for these like newcomers and intermediate trader. Advanced traders know not to even look at the news. Sell the news, buy the rumor, sell the news every single time.
Mhm.
Right?
Yep.
The Fed started saying, "Hey, we think." we're gonna cut basis points. That's not that they think. They just gave you the signal, you dummies. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? They speak in the sky and they speak in a different language, right? So if you're able to catch on with what they're doing, you'll see that they have to put the truth right in front of your eyes. You just have to
Mm-hmm.
be able to see it. Look at the meetings, look at the people that are coming into these meetings, right? Where man, I can't wait to talk about NVIDIA, but I'm gonna wait till like January. I just want some more data to come out because I see
Mm-hmm.
something with them. Where it's like, hey, I see something that I heard potentially. However, if something continues to happen and progress the way that it is, that's out of the picture now.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I understand that is because a lot of people focus on like market cap and focus on just like strategic numbers, where it's like, hey, if it's this market cap and it's this and this is where price is going to be, bro. A lot of that stuff is built into it, and then you love those 10%ers so much that you forget about our people, and that's 85% of the public.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You forget about their money. What? You think that they all in poverty? You think that they all broke? Nah, just some people don't care to be in Gucci and Louis and all that other
Mm-hmm.
stuff. That's just all. What you think? Charlie broke? You stupid if you think that.
So now that we are going into the into end of year, you know,
Oh,
and
sorry.
talking about news.
Susie.
Oh yeah.
Suzanne, I'm sorry. And the RSI. The RSI is my biggest edge. That's the only indicator that I utilize. The
Uh,
strat is not an indicator. It's the RSI. By the end of like when before we get off, I'll give you the strategy of what you need to utilize. What you eat don't make me, you know what I mean? However, it's going to be the RSI, and I tell everybody only utilize, if you're going to utilize an indicator, only utilize one indicator. When you're driving on that road, they do not give you two indicators. They give you a stoplight. They don't give you a stoplight
mm,
and a stop sign. You will get confused. You only need one
mm,
direction, one indicator.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sorry.
I like it. No, no, not at all. Um, you know, now that we've had all the news come out about the economy and that you know the labor market is potentially tightening, unemployment's potentially going up, that inflation could be coming back in like the coming months. Do you have any opinions on those kinds of topics?
I think it's
Or it
hilarious.
doesn't, or you're not interested. You're like, I'm looking at the charts. I don't care about those
No, I
those.
care about that a lot. Even though the economy and the stock market, I had posted something that somebody made great content
Mm-hmm.
on. The economy and the stock market are two completely different things.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'll give my opinion on it, whether I'm right
Mm-hmm.
or wrong. Um, One, inflation is gonna always come back. I remember when my mom said Coca-Cola was like 25 cents. I see that it continues to go up. So inflation is gonna
Mm-hmm.
continue to come. Inflation is set in place to keep that quadrant, right? Go read Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? The
Mm-hmm.
employees is that's what inflation is there. Is there to keep them in place, to keep sheeps in place. What do I
Mm-hmm.
mean by that? Oh, you brag about your raise and this and this and that. Don't worry, I used to do that too. Don't be mad at me because I got free a little freedom now, right? I don't got too much freedom. I got some freedom. However, long story short, um that's what inflation is there for, is to make you feel like that because you're only going to be able to feel it every 4 to really 8 years. Potentially you'll feel it in 4, but 8 years. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because the average American really doesn't have a good relationship with their money, right? And what I mean by that is whatever paycheck you're about to get, you already spent that. Now, if you're on this live, you're completely different. You're not the average
Mm-hmm.
American. However, also, yes, the labor market is weakening. Okay, it's weakening. Man, gosh, I forgot the statistics, the numbers. And I need my other phone. I don't want to jump off the live to look at it. Man, go look at what the numbers that OpenAI ChatGPT just put out. And go look at what's the percentage of what's being researched from fitness, from coaching, from all of this thing. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, cool. Yes, the labor market is weakening. Who makes more money, the labor market or entrepreneur? The jig is up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Where it's
Yep.
like That's what I'm. More businesses are going to be able to be created. Where's that money going to go to? And not only that, where's the fucking stock market going to go? The wealthy store their money there.
Hmm.
Where is it going to go? We want a pullback. We want a correction. We begging for it. Please give me another one. Give me one more. I know what to do with it. I know what to do with it. You know what I'm saying?
You
So
need another one of them drops like we had in April, huh?
I know, my
please,
good.
yo, look, Mark, and I said, Mark, God bless him, Uncle Charlie.
They,
And I'll show you my phone if I
yeah,
when we meet up. Watch the content. Sometimes I be insecure about myself. Watch. I'm gonna show you the content that I made back in March. That's January, February, March,
yeah,
not April.
Mhm,
Back
yeah,
in March, telling everybody this is about to happen, and you need to buy this. It's gonna go
mhm,
crazy. Y'all gonna
yeah,
look at me crazy. Why?
mhm.
Because y'all gonna be like, man, he's a Trump supporter. Bro, I don't fucking support Trump. I
yeah,
support the money. Where is it going? He telling me what to do. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? I'm just not in my feelings. I don't care what he say about people. That ain't my problem.
yeah,
You
Mhm,
know what I'm saying? I've been out of my feelings. Man,
yeah.
do whatever you need to do. Get them riled up. Tell me the plan. Set the distraction up. Don't worry. I'll come back and save my people. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? That's how I look at it. Where it's
mhm,
like, he told you it's going to go higher than ever. So look, since
Yep.
he told you that and now you believe it because we're here, NASDAQ is going to 27,000. Play with yourself. Don't play with me.
Yeah. It's
Well, one
crazy.
of uh,
I didn't tell I that's been one of my favorite things. Just run the play. It's right there in front of your face. They
mhm,
not hiding it. It's out in plain sight.
mhm,
We don't like to hear it, okay, because we don't want to believe it. But I'm like, they're not hiding anything.
mhm,
Okay, and a lot of time they can't handle the fact that it's not being hidden. People want to act like the stock market was like this secret society that not everybody could be in. Okay, look,
mhm,
it is out there in plain sight. They are advertising exactly what they're doing. It's like, oh, we're taking a position in Intel. Well, you should have known, okay, if the government is taking a position in Intel, okay, go run the play.
mhm,
Okay. Now I ain't say dump your whole 401k in the Intel, but dang, you had to know, and then you turn around and see that AMD is going to give Intel some business to as a foundry. I'm like, look,
mhm,
we all know AMD and Nvidia are these chip designers. Okay,
mhm,
they didn't want to put all their eggs in that TSM basket anymore, just in case something happens over there in China, and we can't depend on TSM. Well, what better place? Just go right there to Intel. They got all the foundries to build these things. They don't have to
mhm,
design them anymore. They let that
mhm,
slip by, like BlackBerry and Nokia did when they would like, oh, nobody wants a touch phone. What's this Apple stuff that's coming out?
mhm,
Man,
Yeah.
I'm sitting up here like, Nokia and BlackBerry and they had the up on Apple, but they
mhm,
slept.
Hmm.
Okay, Intel slept on
mhm,
everybody. Why Nvidia is out here now just rocking and rolling.
mhm,
Okay, and now partnering with this open AI and all this other stuff, it's just like we were talking about quantum computing. It's right there in front of
mhm,
your face right now.
mhm.
If I'm in
Yeah.
my 20s and 30s, now is the time to be buying quantum computing because that's like your Apple of my day.
Yep.
Hmm.
Okay, so when you look up and you in your 40s, you're gonna be like, man, if I had been in Rigetti or IONQ or any of these companies, just 10 years ago, where would I be today? Because quantum computing it's here.
Mhm.
Yep.
Don't fool yourself.
Yeah. And
And you were talking about,
it's
yeah,
changing the face of the labor market. I think,
of course.
oftentimes when people, a lot of times when we talk about labor, we're focused a lot on the mega cap companies and who they're hiring and who they're firing, and the reality is they're in a position that they can afford a lot of the most aggressive and progressive AI, robotics, different
Yep.
kinds of integrations and automations that allow them to get progressive. But one of the things that people forget is that in 2021, 2, 3, and 4, the labor market was so tight, small and mid-sized companies couldn't afford to hire people because they couldn't afford to compete with
Hmm.
the salary packages that those larger companies were able to afford, but also they couldn't afford to take on any debt because interest rates were going up as
Yeah.
they're trying to potentially grow. Where the larger companies were sitting on so much cash they could have hired thousands of people and just waited out the credit cycle. But I think now that we see rates are coming down, the larger companies aren't hiring as many people. These small and mid-sized companies, they're like partnering like increases in productivity, but
Yep.
they seem to be starting to hire people again. And like you're
Yeah.
saying that, entrepreneurship is kind of the place that a lot of people are leaning into, but people don't want to be sole proprietors forever. They want to be able to expand their businesses. And
Hmm.
because those bigger companies aren't hiring at the moment, it gives smaller companies the opportunity now to be able to kind of move to that next level on their journey. And so I think that a lot of the times we overlook aspects of society that are growing, like the growth of entrepreneurs and solopreneurs and small companies. We kind of miss that whole reality because we're only busy talking about what does like non-farm payroll and what does ADP say about the mega cap companies. But the mega cap companies aren't employing 60% of the American society. Most of the average American worker is working in a mid-sized company. And if those companies are finally able to start hiring again, I think that there's underneath the surface, there's like a growth in the economy, a positive energy in the economy that people are ignoring in the conversation. Um, and I think it goes right along with all those. I mean, the companies that are outperforming now are the Rigettis, are the Applied Digital, are the QBTS, are these smaller smaller stocks. It's not that they're smaller companies, but
Yeah.
they're just companies that are more recently IPO'd, and so their stock valuations are still at a position that the normal human being can actually participate in. It's not $1,000 stock. These stocks are still 20, 50, $60. Normal person can
Yeah.
participate. So you better be participating, friends.
Well,
But
the
Look, go ahead.
one thing real quick that you got to look at before I drop off and you guys can keep rocking and rolling. I got to go
Mhm.
spend some
Nah,
time
hold
with
on.
the
Don't drop off, Uncle Charlie. I'm gonna drop two plays. Mark
Okay.
said
Mhm.
I had asked what I need to get better at, and I
Yeah.
stated that it's fundamentals. We talking about fundamentals, so I'm gonna
Hmm.
go ahead and bring the fundamentals in, and I'm gonna give you
Okay.
two plays that y'all can
Okay.
take, and I'm gonna tell you the price
Mhm.
action.
Well, I'm gonna let you go ahead on and do that then. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
You,
gonna let you bring it.
you sure?
Yeah. Go right ahead.
All right, cool, right? So I got it pulled up real quick. One, I'm gonna just say DoorDash, and and I'm not even
Mhm.
gonna talk too big on DoorDash. We already also know that DoorDash plans to send auto I can't even read right now
Autonomous. Autonomous.
autonomous robots into bike lanes, right?
Hmm.
And
Yep.
also just doing deliveries. All right, cool. Who's their competition doing that? Uber, right? With foods.
Yep.
Where's Uber getting into? Freight,
Yep.
right? The partnership that they just did with Tesla.
Yep.
All right, we already know what they're doing with Amazon, and we already know that they got AIs driving the trucks too. And by December, they're gonna have multiple of those driving. So
Mhm.
what are they coming for? The truck drivers now. Why?
Yep. Yep.
Because that's a big industry.
It is.
That's
Mhm.
a huge industry. So where should your money be going to? Of course, OpenAI, Microsoft, things of that nature. Yet Tesla and Uber is about to make a major move.
Mhm.
Why?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people that thought that they were comfortable, just like you're talking about sole proprietors, and they
Mhm.
should have been thinking commercial and this and that, they didn't think big enough. Right?
Mhm.
So they're about to get swept out of a space. Watch
Mhm.
what happens here in the next year and a half with
Hmm.
those truck drivers. Yeah, you're still gonna have some of them on the road. You know what I'm saying? Why?
Yeah.
Because it has to get it the way that they imprint it into your mind is with content. You like Instagram, you like making all this content, you got this AI that you can use.
Mhm.
It's making all of this. Hey man, these AIs are now they're going to be able to set regulations, laws,
Mhm.
legislations on top of that and take away your rights, and you're going to willingly give it up
Mhm.
because you're into what? The metaverse, and you're not investing into it. We're
Mhm.
literally right now in the metaverse. You just thought it was
Mhm.
Minecraft and all of that, right? So Tesla. I just dropped it. Look, I think I can flip my camera. Let me see. No, that's not how you flip it. I'm new to Instagram Live. Y'all give me.
Even me.
All right,
Wait.
so this is when I dropped it the other day. Y'all could take it, right? I said, let's
Mm-hmm.
go Tesla TP levels. This is where Tesla's going, right? We'll be breaking 490 automatically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is going to 550, 548, and 608. Yes, I have other levels that it's going to be getting to, and I say that's by mid next year.
Mm.
Man, I'm saying mid next year. Hopefully, it doesn't happen before December. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
However, everybody should be in position. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You got DoorDash, you got Uber, and you also have Tesla.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
millennial properties on here. He asked me about Tesla, like when it was wedging, and he was like, "What's gamma? What do you see?" And I was like, "This thing breaks 350 all-time highs. That's it. The price action is telling you we came down. We went back to the origin of this up move. All we did was just come back, give ourselves this beautiful long consolidation. We're going to violate those highs, and we're almost there now. So I hope
Yeah.
people listen, because yeah, but the
And the
only
cra- and
direction now is violating the highs. Sorry,
and
Uncle
the crazy
Charles.
part you got to look at is no. I mean, so you guys brought all the technical reasons why Tesla is Tesla. Uh, if somebody was offering me a contract where I can make $1 trillion, or do I stand up on stage with a chainsaw? Which one you think I'm gonna do? I got to get back to where my $1 trillion coming from. Look, Elon ain't stupid. He knew. He knew. Look, I had fun. I don't fit in that world. Let me get on back to this stuff that I know where I'm the king. Okay, because
Hmm.
you was trying to compete with somebody else who just want to be, the king of the U.S. Okay, he want to act like Prince Charles and everybody else. He trying to turn the United States into his UK for the next 3 years. Okay, you go do that or whatever. But Elon knew. Let me get on over here because I know these people trying to hand me a new contract where I can make $1 trillion. Man, look, I'm going over here. Okay, it
If
was
you see
nice.
how Elon speaks, Uncle, I'm gonna tell you this right
Yeah,
now. You can just see he has. You think trading money is fuck you money? No, his
no,
money is completely different. One thing,
yeah,
how I knew it was not gonna work out, it's all a gimmick. Him and Trump gonna end up doing something. I mark my words on that.
yeah.
However, the one thing you cannot do with Elon is measure dicks. You cannot do that with that man. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Trump does
He's
it
got
way too
about
much.
59 children to tell you about it.
You that man right there, you can see how Trump would, talk to him. It's like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
talk to you, and if you got money, like you're
yeah,
mine. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? It was
yeah,
not about to happen. You can't what do you see how much PayPal's worth right now?
yeah,
Do you like do you see how much Tesla's worth and how much open AI is worth?
Hmm.
yeah, yeah,
Do you not understand why Trump wanted to be around Elon? He owns Twitter, and he already knew what they were gonna do with TikTok.
right.
Hmm.
It's an algorithmic thing because the fight is for your mind. I'll, I'll
Yeah,
I'm gonna close my mouth after that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm glad you dropped that. It's been enjoyable, but I am gonna go spend the rest of my day with the fam and hang out a little bit. But uh, I knew when I met him in Seattle and I got a chance to hear him speak, I was just like, okay, this man is on a little different frequency. A lot of people just ain't, they hadn't touched on it yet. But I was sitting up there and I told Mark, I said, you know what? This is the kind of talk that we used to talk almost 20 years ago. Okay.
Hmm.
When I was in groups trying to figure out, okay, where are we going with this? Okay.
Hmm.
And how do we keep everybody included? But you not everybody gonna get it in the beginning. It's gonna take a little time for people to come along and say, okay, now I understand exactly where he's coming from.
Hmm.
Okay. Even anybody who goes back and listen to this live again, they're gonna be like, okay, if I put these points together, I see how the whole circle comes, whatever. Yeah, so it's really been great hearing this. I look forward, since we all here in Atlanta, we'll definitely catch up. And I
Uncle,
love it,
Uncle
man.
Charlie, before you leave,
Yeah.
everything that you're saying right now,
Uh-huh.
I don't take with a grain of salt, and it's very appreciative.
Mm.
You're not casting pearls out to swine. And what I'm
Nah.
going to tell you right now is when I went to the summit and I did what I did and how Mark introduced me on that stage, I understood what I needed to do. When I
Uh-huh.
got back, my whole Discord right now is open for free. The next
Yeah.
week is still open for free. Why?
Mm.
Because for Mark to be able to do what he did for me was not for me to sell something or for you to buy something. It was for me to
Right.
be able
Mm.
to help somebody else and do
Mm-hmm.
what I need to do and give someone that opportunity for as long as I can do it. You know what
Yeah.
I'm
Mm.
saying?
Yeah.
So nah, man, come into the community. You'll see. So you can
Okay.
help them out. I keep putting out a play and telling them, like, hey, man, you don't know who I am. I'm not going to be doing this for long.
Mm.
However, make you at least 10, 20, $30,000 real quick so that you could be able to set yourself up. You know what I'm saying? So I really
Yeah.
appreciate your kind words
Mm.
Yeah.
and appreciate Suzanne for even giving me the opportunity to come on her platform and speak.
Yeah.
I know you got to go. However, I truly appreciate you, my man.
Mm.
No problem. No problem. It's good seeing you guys. Always great to be here on a Sunday. And
Mm.
like I said, since we're here in Atlanta, we're definitely gonna connect, man. Okay?
That's a fact.
Thanks for
Suzanne,
joining us, Uncle
good
Charles.
seeing you. All righty. Bye
Ciao.
bye.
Bye for
Peace.
now. So, yeah, I think that for the audience, I think that it's clear that you are just a phenomenal price action trader. You love trading Nasdaq. You are, um, on top of it. For like just parting words, what do you think are the most important things that people should be leaning into if they want to learn how to trade? If they want to learn, like, where would somebody start from your point of view? Besides
Um,
getting into your Discord. So if you're not following him,
No,
follow
I
him.
wouldn't
He
even say
posts his
that.
he posts his link on his stories. So, you know.
Yeah, you could come in. However, coming into my community, I'm not going to tell you that, oh, you're just going to be profitable. That's not just going to happen. I don't sell
Hmm.
a dream. However, I will always say self-mastery, and working on yourself. Yet, I know people want real tools. So the first thing that you want to be able to learn is going to be your Greeks. If you want to be great at this, you have to learn your Greeks. That's going to be the first thing.
Speaking my language.
So maybe stop at her community first. And it's always going to be the Greeks. I've asked people to see what they'll say. They'll say price action, and I'm a price action trader. And price action is not the first thing you want to learn. When you go get a job or you're looking and seeking for a job, what is the first thing you're
Hmm.
looking for? How much is this going to pay me? What is that called in our
Hmm.
world? The Greeks, right?
Hmm.
Because the Greeks are going to start telling you, hey, I can't trade this security. This is too expensive for my portfolio.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If you go and learn the Greeks first, you automatically learn risk management and risk tolerance.
That's a good point.
Automatically. Yeah. And then the second thing I would say would be price action, right?
Hmm.
Because you're going to need to know how price action moves and how it fluctuates across the market structure. From
Hmm.
there, then I'll say fundamentals. And the reason why is because you're going to be receiving a lot of fundamentals just by scrolling through Instagram, um, being on her page. She's always going to be talking about some type of fundamentals, even with the guest speakers that she has. Um, any news channel that's just dropping anything, you're going to be able to put two and two together. So I will always say it's going to be the Greeks
Hmm.
and the Greeks, price action, and of course, just how self mastery. Don't listen to people thinking that you have
Hmm.
to get up on the rise for market opening, and you got to look at the news, things of that nature, or you got to set a routine for yourself, like oh, you got to jog, or you got to eat, or you got to eat breakfast. Like all of those things are you do if you need energy or
Hmm.
you got to know yourself, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying. You don't have to break fast. um and to be honest, just keep God first.
Hmm.
As long as you keep God first in your life and you know, not just believe, because to believe is to not know. You don't believe you have children, you know
Mm,
you have children, right?
mm,
It's like really understanding words and not just believe that you can do something, yet know that you can do something.
mm,
Know that whatever you do today is what you're going to do the next day, right? So if
mm,
you was a half-assed person today, it's going to be easier for you to be a half-assed person the next day, right? And that's how you hold up the frequency. It's just like you're
mm,
going to go working out. When you go work out, you get tired, it was great. Are you going to do it the next day? Right?
mhm,
Consistency is not about that I do this
mhm,
at this time or the first thing I do when I get up is this. That's not consistency. That's religion.
mhm,
That's a routine. That's being repetitive behind
mhm,
something. Consistency is just making sure that if I'm telling myself I'm going to love myself, I'm going to love others, um, I'm going to practice trading, that you do that consistently every
mhm,
single day, whether it's
mhm,
for a couple of hours or this. And then what I tell people is what's going to make you surpass anyone in any industry that you choose to do is work when they're working, and when they log off, go work. Do not
mm,
log off. That's all you
mhm,
have to do. If you put in more hours than the average person in that industry, whether they're more talented or skilled than you will become way more talented and skilled than
mhm.
that person. And I learned that from Kobe Bryant.
Mhm. I completely agree with everything you're saying. And it's sober judgment, right? Like you never want to be harder on yourself than necessary, but you want to be hard enough on yourself that you're being honest with like who you are and where you are. I know that a lot of people say that like 85% of trading is psychology, and I don't always agree with that. I in a complete and I'll explain why, because a
Yeah,
lot
please.
of people they learn trading in a way that doesn't make sense. So if you're working with a car that's missing an engine, it doesn't matter how much good psychology you have, the car's not going to move. But if you do have a car that has all the pieces and you're afraid to drive, you won't be able to drive it. And so for a lot of people, I think that, they're losing in their trading, and you go back and you try to help them. And this happens, people who come to my community from other communities, they'll come and then I'll teach them and they're still doing something really like a different way. We'll have a one-on-one. Okay, well, like let's figure this out. Why are we not marrying each other? Why do you have more losses than me? This doesn't make sense. And then you scratch beneath the surface and it's like they fell in love with something that somebody else taught them, but it's not something that's serving them. It's not something that's actually helping them increase their profitability. And you tell them, you try to find a polite way and then a direct way and then an indirect direct way, whatever, that this thing is not serving you, and you have to just give it up. But they've fallen in love with that thing, and whatever that romance is, like, I can't break up with your boyfriend for you. If you want to be in that relationship, then, that's your business. But at some point you have to decide that whoever I loved, whoever I was worshiping, whoever was my goddess that wasn't serving my process and serving my journey, you have to rebuke it and get it out of your system. And I think this is part of the problem of like people not speaking back when people are teaching bad or wrong or inconsistently, because they allow people to just keep marinating in the toxicity. And then they go into other communities where actually people are teaching them. And I'm not the only great teacher out there. Yes, I'm a good teacher because, I was reviewing my books and I was reviewing the books of like my inner circle members, like, are we doing the same thing? And we had like a 98% win rate for the last
Let's
6 months.
go.
So, like, I'm not here to say, like, I know what I'm doing, but there are other people who also know what they're doing. And that's why I invite people like you to come onto my show, because it's not just like I'm not the only star shining in the universe. There are a lot of us, but I want to like highlight people who are doing good work. And then we still have to be honest about the other people who are not doing good work, because I feel
Yeah,
too
that's a fact.
often people are like bringing their baggage into the community, and you're trying your best to help them, but if they don't want to like shed that, whatever that burden is, then, eventually it's not about psychology. You legitimately have a car that doesn't have a carburetor. I don't know how I can help you in that situation. Either you fix that problem, then we can deal with the psychology. But when you have your car in order, psychology does become then the most important thing. Then it becomes the Kobe Bryant situation where it is about mentality. And that's something even I have to work on. I mean, with the like, with my team, I'm always like, okay, I'm like today, I'm like have other things in my mind. I need to like snap back, get ready. Market is opening. Let's get to this. But yeah, self mastery, I think, is a majorly important thing. Something that's really helped me with self mastery. And this is going to sound really weird because I mean, I'm open about my faith and I come from a Christian faith, but my mom is Muslim. And so I've grown up in a family of Islamic tradition. And one thing that I think is that I love, and I wish that this was something everybody did is Ramadan. Like coming into Ramadan, preparing for Ramadan, and then engaging in the month of Ramadan is this really important reset to everything about your body and your mind, and learning to take control of your mind in spite of how hungry or thirsty or whatever you may be, and then having those prayer times kind of like marked in. And it's always because it's like so annual, it's part of my like annual reset. But I think that people who don't participate in things like Lent or Advent or Ramadan or something similar, it's good to have like that moment in the year where you just kind of say, okay, I'm going to do something to like recalibrate, because you can't have, you can't see the forest for the trees if you don't have enough perspective. And you do need to have that like sober judgment moment where you're like, okay, that grounding perspective. And you talk a lot about that, about meditating, about taking time out, being like having that understanding of self and that like, focus mentality. So I really appreciate that, because not a lot of people talk about it. The question is, are people actually doing it? And that's something else entirely. But it feels like it is so much part of your ethos, the whole like meditative spirit. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I still hear the sound machine. The only thing that's gonna get me off really quickly, as soon as I don't hear that sound machine, I know my son's up, and I just bought him like this basketball goal, so we're about to
Hmm.
play. However, you touched on something that's very, very important. One, I understand where you're coming from, and however, I still see the psychology into it, where
Hmm.
it's like you have to be able to unlearn to relearn, and
Hmm.
sometimes it's exactly what you was talking about, where someone comes and they have, EMAs or this, and it's like the person you're learning from doesn't even have that on their chart, and
Hmm.
you think it's serving you, but it's not. It's just one of the first things that you put onto your chart, and it's hard to take it off. It's like me that I
Hmm.
trade on trading views. It's not
Hmm.
that I trade on trading views. I chart on trading views. I only trade
Hmm.
futures on trading views.
Hmm.
However, I use TOS and Robinhood. Yeah, I don't chart on TOS. Yet it's a free
Hmm.
platform that I can utilize and things of that nature.
Hmm.
Yet it's not that I don't care to learn there. It's just I first started with trading views.
Hmm.
So I use that as an example to like to show people where it's like it's very, very important what you start with because it's hard to take it away.
Hmm.
And that goes back to you saying that you can't break up with someone's boyfriend for them. So sometimes it's not that someone can't unlearn to relearn properly. It's the fact that you actually have to get off the charts because that part is being on the charts to learn something, right?
Hmm.
You have to get off the charts and actually relearn. Well, unlearn yourself to relearn yourself, meaning sometimes it has nothing to do with the skill or you trading. You see exactly what to do. It's just you're in a toxic relationship.
Hmm.
Um, you know, whether you've been married for how long you've been married, you know what I'm saying? And that's weighing you down. With me trading, like I had to learn to tell certain people where it's like, you gotta find that person. yeah, maybe your husband or your wife isn't that person. For me, that was my person. Where it's like
Mhm.
my wife helped me with trading. My wife would
Mhm.
literally book me a session because I'm annoying her. I don't know that I'm
Mhm.
annoying her, but however, I can't. She can't help me with what I'm, going through. Um, and that was a great point that you touched on. Another great point that you touched on. I'm gonna always say all praise due to Allah.
Mhm.
Um, I'm under Muslim Islamic,
Mhm.
teachings. However, I'm just not a religious person. I don't claim or
Mhm.
claim no religion. I always just
Mhm.
say my belief, and my belief is that I'm a 5%er.
Mhm.
However, to be honest, I feel like I have everything that I have. Like, man, if we didn't have Ramadan, I don't know what I'd do with myself. Ramadan teaches me a lot, you know what I'm saying, about
Mhm.
myself. Ramadan has taught me how to master my stomach. You know what I'm saying? And be the master of my stomach and be the master of my flesh. Ramadan is what helped me understand, you know, how can I put this in perspective? Ramadan helped me understand the flesh and within.
Mhm.
And I fell in love with within. Because whatever you find within, you can manifest it without the flesh.
Mhm. Yeah.
You don't need that fleshly beast. You just need the
Mhm.
fleshly beast for things to be able to put together. You have an
Mhm.
arm, leg, arm, head for a reason. It's the greatest
Mhm.
design ever created. However, I know that a lot of my blessings come from me being a 5%er. I have a duty to fast at least one
Mhm.
time a day. I'm not a day, one time a month, right? So I have
Mhm.
to do that. Sometimes I'll do 3 days, right?
Mhm.
Because it's always in that second day, that process that you get those thoughts, those irritating thoughts that you're trying to calm down and be
Mhm.
one with, where,
Mhm.
you're trying to fight, where it's like, yo, nobody's going to see this, where it's like, yeah,
Mhm.
I see this.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be that when I talk about meditating, I may not use that word so much more now. I use the word drawing up. So if you hear me say like
Mhm.
I'm drawing up in my mind.
Mhm.
However, meditating is the same thing as focusing, right? So when
Mhm.
you're focusing on a chart and you're concentrating on something, you're now meditating. You're in a meditative state,
Mhm.
right? So what I've learned with meditation is that you can get whatever you want from a meditation. Yet, it's meditation for a reason. Not everybody can go through the process, meaning it's not about sitting down and quieting your thoughts. If you want to be able to master that and be at still and master
Mhm.
your thoughts and know that the thoughts aren't yours, that they're just a train driving by and it's you focusing and concentrating and illuminating to create the reality of it,
Mhm.
you can do that so that you can learn your mind more and how to manifest and
Mhm.
be in alignment. Yet, when you go into meditation, it's really to see all those loud thoughts and
Mhm.
see everything that's
Mhm.
happening, not focus on it, yet just wow. Whether it's something bad that you did, something good that you did, or something that was done to you, it's more so that you be able to see that and you see yourself at a younger
Mhm.
stage and say, hey, I'm here now for you. I will speak
Mhm.
up. These things won't happen. And curing those stages, right? Because no one else can cure that for you because it was
Mhm.
you that designed that in your mind, and that's how you're
Mhm.
designing your reality, the way
Mhm.
you're thinking at the moment, right? So these things are very important, not only to
Mhm.
me, it's important to the universe. These things I've gotten from my mother, where
Mhm.
it's not that she sits down and meditate. My mom is someone that's like she can be very still at times.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So I will see her still and I will start doing it, yet I will fall into a meditation where it's like, whoa, hold on, my mind is amazing.
Mhm.
Wow, I can close my eyes and now meditate with great positive music, and I
Mhm.
can literally draw this up in my mind. It's just when someone listens to music, what I've realized, because I was an artist before,
Mhm.
um, is that they're listening to the music and relating to what that person's saying in their life. When
Mhm.
I listen to music, I don't see anyone. It's like I wrote. the music and I'm
Mm,
seeing my life,
mm-hmm,
whether it's in different timelines. The person
mm-hmm,
wrote it for me. It's because I don't believe I'm here with anybody else. I think I'm here by myself and with my wife.
mm,
Everybody else is just a reflection, it's a mirror to me. It's a part of me that I've been able to master or I haven't. Like if I don't like you or you irritate me, I haven't mastered that part of myself yet.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? Where I look at you like you would be not the female version of me, yet a part of my feminine side qualities
mm,
where I love the Greeks. You love the Greeks. You live in a different country. I live in a different country, yet I like to
mm,
travel. I see those kind of qualities
mm,
and I'm able to learn from you. Whereas I've found out that you're a widow, yet what I've always read about widows were not what I'm seeing today. You know, I see a
mm,
very positive, a very strong person, someone that doesn't, look at her life circumstances and uses it as a crutch. You know,
mm-hmm,
someone that will use something that happened that was so painful to her and will literally show you the happiness out of it. You know what I'm saying? So that's rare to be able to find. Why do I say that? Because people use things, as a crutch. Like I can say, hey, I was homeless, this and this and this and that.
mm,
It's like, dude, like, what's the whole point of that? You know what I'm saying? Look at where you are. Hang on
mm,
to the positive things. So,
mm,
I really appreciate you having me on. I know that I would love you to come into my community.
mm,
We can go live on my Instagram as well.
mm,
Yet, I would also love you to come into my community
mm,
and do a class on the Greeks. And not only that, see if there's anybody there that would like to come to your community and learn more
mm.
about what you have going on. And then I would ask you to invite me as a collaborator on this so I can
Yeah.
put it on my page.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would love to come in. I love teaching in other communities. I think that, yeah, I love the meeting of the minds. I think it all sharpens everybody's energy. I would love to have you also come into our Discord and teach and share because TC has been into our group and Derek is off and on and as well as Zay. And they always just, and Uncle Charles is there and they always just give such positive like positive impact. It's iron sharpens iron. That's really what's going on when different people that are all training hard in their own kind of lane come together. You start to really see the resonance between strong collaborators. So I would love to come in and teach in your community, but also to have you come in and teach on ours. And I will definitely have you as a collaborator on this live. I know that your son is going to be waking up soon, so I do want to thank you so much for sharing this part of your Sunday with our community, with us. And I look forward to having you on again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Suzanne, right?
Mhm.
All right. And peace to everybody that's on here. And I'm gonna check this out. I might make some content out of this, man. I be seeing what you be doing. Like you fire. I be like, man, I need to start moving, man. I
You
love
need
what
to
you
get
got
an
going on.
editor. You need to get an editor. I
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah,
do all of
yeah.
this by myself. No, no.
Yeah, I got to talk to you on the backside of this. And as well, I just want to let your community know, like, if I ever come do a class or even live trading, I'll talk to Suzanne where it's like, hey, here's my live trading link if anybody wants to
Mhm.
come. Please don't feel forced to come in my community and get any subscription. And anytime I come into Suzanne's community, it's always going to be free. I don't do things like that. I do things out of my heart and I want to see you guys win, right? And strictly is just Suzanne is a great person and I think it's important to not only uplift others yet uplift women. And when you see women doing great things, come and support and see what kind of value you can add to what they got going on. So I want to thank you not only for having me, just for doing all the great works that you're doing here on planet Earth and as well in your community. It shouldn't be overlooked. It shouldn't be undermined. And it should be spoken about. And you should have your flowers because not everybody's brave enough to teach what they know and help other people along their journey. So congratulations to you and flowers to you and thank you again.
Thank you. That is much, much appreciated. Thank you so much for joining us. And I look forward to the next time that we get to collaborate. And I'll say to all of our viewers, goodbye for now.
Peace.
Peace.